Everyone, and welcome to the Monday, October 14th, 2024 Maplewood City Council meeting. Today is Indigenous Peoples Day. Let's honor the history and the contributions of Native Americans. I want to have a very special meeting tonight. It seems like we've just got so many good things happening, and I marvel at our staff sometimes at how they are able to put together grants and different ways that we can help our residents. If you are on Facebook, you have probably seen Captain Brad Davison, and actually Jerry Novak, what is his rank? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Fire Marshal. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. Sorry, Jerry, I drew a blank on that. But he also has a video with his son. But I saw Captain Davison presenting on Facebook on a really great initiative that our staff put together and then came up with the money in order to support it. And so I asked if Captain Davidson would come to our council meeting tonight and show everyone what they've been busy doing that will help all of us. So Captain Davidson, do you want to get up and share with us what you folks have been doing in public safety?
Yeah, absolutely. Mayor and members of the City Council, thank you for the opportunity to talk to you this evening. So Fire Safety Week this year was this past week, October 6th through the 12th, and the National Fire Protection Agency's theme this year was Smoke Alarms, Make Them Work for You. As part of our commitment to reducing risk in the community, we have relaunched several community risk reduction programs this year. And one of those programs is installing smoke detectors, carbon monoxide alarms, and stovetop fire extinguishers. So just brought example of the equipment that we have that we're providing to our residents for free of charge. So far this year, we have performed 25 home safety inspections where we go to a resident's home, check out the safety equipment that they already have installed, and if they're missing anything that we can provide, then we install it at that time. We've installed 27 smoke detectors, 9 CO detectors, and 15 stovetop fire extinguishers. And I want to thank the Red Cross for their partnership in this initiative. We get our smoke detectors from the Red Cross that we provide to the residents. And the carbon monoxide alarms and the stovetop fire extinguishers we have purchased through a grant from charitable gambling monies that we were awarded last year. The other program we have initiated this year is Community Connect. It's a voluntary profile that residents can fill out, and it provides critical information to the fire department if we respond to their home in an emergency. Information that can be entered includes garage door codes, location of sleeping areas, presence of individuals with developmental or physical disabilities, and more. This information can save us valuable seconds when providing emergency services. Residents can take advantage of these programs by signing up for the Community Connect app or calling our number to schedule an inspection or an installation at 651-249-2807.
Thank you. What a wonderful opportunity. You want to hold those up one more time? Because this is free, folks. Make your home safe from fire. Those are the kinds of things that if you get in contact with us, our public safety, our fire department can come out and help you with that. So thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You bet. I said we had a special meeting tonight. We have a Girl Scout troop. It is Girl Scout Troop 58184. Their leader is Ruth, I know I'm not going to say this right, Klabundi. Was I good? Okay, there you go, Ruth Klabundi. They are working on their democracy badge, and there isn't any better way to learn about government than to come to a city council meeting. And so I have invited the Girl Scouts, if they would please come up to the microphone, and they are going to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, ladies? All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and I advised everyone, good job, everyone. Their names have been turned into our city clerk, and they will be included in our minutes at our next meeting as leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And if you want to see yourselves, you can tune in tomorrow on the city website, and you can watch the recording, all right? So thank you very much, and thank you for coming. I really appreciate that you're working on a democracy badge. Thank you so much. Okay, City Clerk Sint, would you please do the roll call for us?
Councilmember Lee.
Present.
Councilmember Villavicencio.
Here.
Councilmember Cave.
Here.
Mayor Abrams.
I am here.
And Councilmember Juniman isn't joining us tonight.
Thank you. Council members, first thing on our agenda is to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Cave, the motion to approve our agenda. Is there any further discussion? Any additions? I'm going to add several things to council presentations. I'm going to add actually several different items concerning development and redevelopment that have occurred recently. The Omi Nail Lounge just opened up. They had their grand opening. Community Dental is going to be expanding their services here in Maplewood down at the conference, the old 3M Conference Center. They bought that building, and they are going to be expanding their services. And I think I mentioned this before, Coretta's Senior Living is now open over, they're newly developed over on County Road C and just off White Bear. So that's one thing, development and redevelopment. And then I'm going to ask Public Works Director Steve Love if he would do an update on our Emerald Ash Borer Assistance Program. And then there's a fun event that's going to be happening this weekend, actually, at the this is Philippine American History Month. We are going to have a big celebration over at the Philippine Center of Minnesota over on Frost. That is from 3 to 7. There's going to be food vendors and all sorts of fun things happening. And Cam Bynum, who is, I believe, the first NFL player of Philippine descent, is going to be coming to the Philippine Center here in Maplewood. He's coming right after the game. So let's hope that it's going to be 6-0 because he's coming to be recognized over at our Philippine Center. And then the last thing to add is I'm going to ask Chief Beardeman if he would talk about a new partnership that we've got going with the city of Roseville. He can talk a little bit about that and share that with you. As you can see, there's just a whole lot of news in Maplewood right now. So those are the things I want to add. Anyone else? Okay, then it's been moved and seconded, approval of our agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Next, we have the approval of our minutes from the September 23rd meeting. Would someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
By Villavicencio, seconded by Cave, the motion to approve the minutes of the September 23rd, 2024 City Council meeting minutes. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Let's see, moving on, administrative presentations, our council calendar update. Mr. Sable, this is yours.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. This week is, obviously, we got the council meeting tonight, but we also have a special meeting tomorrow, special EDA meeting as a development tour of sites throughout the city of Maplewood, and Community Development Director Danette Parr and Michael Martin have done a really good job of putting together what we think is a pretty robust and aggressive tour. I think there are 24 stops. And by stops, I mean we will not get out, but we will just sort of look at them admiringly and talk about them while we continue on the bus. So we do have a hard stop deadline because the CDRB has a meeting at 6 p.m. So it will be a quick rush. But I promise you, I think the theme about the development tour is really there's been a lot of successes and a lot of really successful developments. And so what we've tried to do is to pair them as to here is a success, here's an opportunity. Here's a success, here's an opportunity. And so you won't have a lot of time for robust discussion during the tour because it's going to be a lot of information. But it's our intent to continue this conversation around development and culminating in sort of a retreat session in the late January, early February, where we really cement the direction of redevelopment and the use of the EDA and the tools. And so this is, I think, I'll call this maybe part 3 of maybe a 6-part mini-series, right? This is a really complicated piece, but there's been a lot of successes. I will forecast that the meeting next week on the 28th is very full. We do have potentially 9 commission interviews. And if you're familiar with commission interviews, they go anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes a person. So they're already into an hour. And then we also have the first of our beginning of our department budget presentations. We also have a special EDA meeting with regard to J.B. Vang's Phase 2 development at Gladstone Village 2. So next week, it's a series of contrasts. So if you plan for a long meeting, we will be able to provide you with dinner in advance. And then I also just want a couple of things. We are members of Metro Cities. It's a regional group that supports and advocates for cities in the metropolitan area. They are adopting their legislative policy program on Monday, next Monday. And as I served on one of the committees that helped develop those, and as we continue to think about and prepare for the first of the year, which is 79 days away, which is terrifying to think. It's only 79 days left of this year. We are going to continue our conversations around legislative program. And I will say that one of those elements is going to include potential changes to the tax increment financing law. So I think all of these things ultimately weave together, but it will be a mad rush between now and the end of the year. And so looking forward to that. I think the only other thing that I was going to mention is we've continued to get a lot of feedback that people really appreciated the fireworks in the fall. And so as staff, we are going to pull together an after-action report about what were some of the successes, what were some of the challenges. And so we'd certainly be open to planning, as we start to plan for next year, really thinking about what makes sense for this community to showcase. And so when we have that after-action report, we will provide that to the City Council.
Thank you. That was something that we actually, as a council, talked about. Can you add that under council comments so that that's something we remember that we're working on, that's to come into the future? Also, one of the things that I would like to add on, and maybe you can give us some direction on this, but can you kind of set the stage for us on discussions about transit, now that we are past our 3 resolutions? It would be nice to have an update on what our staff, kind of what staff expects next, what a timeline might look like. If you can help us with that, Mr. Sable, that would be great.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor and council members. The resolutions that were passed at the last meeting did call for, continued advocacy for transit in the city of Maplewood and transit options. Steve Love and Danette Parr have continued to be participating in the meetings with the Metro Transit staff. That continuation of the dialogue is really, I think, continues that partnership, and I really appreciate their willingness to stay in it and continue to offer their expertise and their guidance in this, how this works. I had a meeting last week with Metro Transit Regional Administrator Ryan O'Connor, who was previously the Ramsey County Administrator, and so Ramsey County Manager, excuse me. And we had a really nice initial conversation. He had said that they were brainstorming some ideas, and so he had looked for that late November, early December timeframe. In addition, we have a meeting scheduled with the County Manager, Ling Becker, for the end of this month. And so the conversations have been helpful, and they've been resetting some of the expectations and the way redefining the partnership. If I were to speculate on a time frame, I would think that early December, early January seems to be the window for people to come back to the table to talk about what potential solutions might be, knowing that some decisions are made, some decisions are not made. I will share that the Corridor Management Committee today did make a recommendation to withdraw the Bruce Vento alignment from the consideration, so that sort of ends that alignment at the federal level and at the Metro Transit level. That does leave open the question for further study of White Bear, and so I would expect that to be, as I said, probably with that 2 to 3 month window of time frame.
Can we also include that, just so that we keep it top of mind on this document, so that maybe December or January, that we then know that that's coming in terms of an update? Councilmember Cave, your light is on?
Oh, I was just going to let the city manager talk about the community outreach event that's coming up.
Certainly, I lose track because we're not going to have a meeting in time. So we are excited to offer our Trunk or Treat Halloween Festival is going to be on Sunday, October 27th from 1 to 4 p.m. This is going to be held in the City Hall parking lot, and each of the various departments and city staff will park their cars and open up the back and have lots of treats and Halloween gifts, and there's also a very friendly competition within the staff of who can have the most creative decor. I think I'll say, I don't know if the costumes are going to be part of the decor, but I know that the staff here really do take it seriously, and it's a really fun event. And so come bring your kiddos from 1 to 4 at City Hall on October 27th. We're praying for great weather, bright sunshine, and a really fun day. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we've got an update on Emerald Ash Borer, our assistance program. Mr. Love, would you please give us an update? Kind of a high level, just remind us kind of what's happening and how this is helping?
Yes, Mayor and Council, as you might recall, the council made available $150,000 to help private property owners with ash trees that need to be removed because of EAB. And so the program was set up where each property could receive up to $3,000. That would be paid to their contractor to help pay for those removal costs. And that $3,000 would be assessed to their property, to be paid over a period of, I believe, 5 years. And that helps somebody maybe spread out that cost. We had a sign up to take part of it. We had 59 applications. We had room for 50 people. We held a lottery to kind of make sure it is fair and equitable as possible for those who signed up. Since that time, we have had actually 9 applicants drop out. And so the 9 that did not get selected as part of the lottery have been notified that they're able to be part of it. We've had 12 applicants submit everything that they need to do to move forward. Last week, we sent a reminder out to all the participants that we had set kind of an end of October date to be able to provide us that, yes, they want to take part in it. So we've been working with residents. Some have not responded yet. Some have responded that I've got everything worked out, but the removal might take a couple months before their contractor can do that. We're obviously working with residents as much as we can to allow that to all happen. So at this point, everybody who has applied has had an opportunity now. If we do get any calls for somebody asking whether they can partake of the program still, they will go on to our waiting list. And if somebody has drops out again, we'll let them know that they can partake in it as well. And I should mention that at an upcoming council meeting, we are going to bring back a report on the overall city EAB program. So this would be all the different grants, the work that staff has done, what have we done throughout 2024, and a look ahead of what next year might be.
Great, thank you very much. It's always good to kind of get an update on where things are. I appreciate that.
Yep.
I think I mentioned already, well, I'll give you a little more details. It is Philippine American History Month. Our Philippine Center of Minnesota is having a special event on Sunday, October 20th, from 3 until 7. There's going to be 4 food vendors there and a lot of fun. There's going to be a special recognition, a proclamation for the Philippine Center of Minnesota, and then also special recognition for Cam Bynum, who is a player on the Minnesota Vikings. He is, I believe, the first Philippine American who is going to be recognized for his efforts in the NFL, working or playing for the Minnesota Vikings. And he is actually going to be coming after the game. So that is really pretty exciting. I'm hoping that it's going to be a 6-0, that we will be victorious on Sunday. That sure would make it a nice event, especially because he's going to be there. But anyway, that's happening. So council members, if you're available, it's going to be outdoors and should be a very fun event. And then the last thing, Chief Beardeman, the public safety partnership that you're working on with the city of Roseville. Do you want to explain a little bit about that, please?
Sure, Madam Mayor and Council, thank you. As you may recall, Maplewood has a program called Lights On, and basically what that is while officers are out and about in the streets, they see a vehicle with any type of light on the vehicle that is out, in lieu of issuing a citation or pulling over that vehicle, they'll just enter the license plate number, it goes into a database, at which point we submit a Lights On voucher, which is up to $250 for them to get the light fixed for free, so they never even know the officer ran the plate. And it's been super successful. I've gotten dozens of letters really thanking us for helping individuals that really didn't have the money to get these things fixed. In talking with Roseville, who's also a partner in this Lights On program, we feel like we can reach even more people. And so we are holding an event October 23rd, 3:30 to 5:30 at the Church of Christ parking lot located at 241 Larpenteur Avenue in Roseville. What will happen is citizens can pull into that parking lot. They don't have to get out of the car. Officers will check around the vehicle and look for any lights that are out. If any are out, we don't ask for an ID. We don't need to know your name. All we do is document the license plate of the vehicle, and they'll receive a free voucher for $250 to go to multiple different places to get that light fixed. So hope people show up, and if it's successful, we'll be looking for more of these.
Is that going to be posted on our website?
It's on our Facebook post right now.
Oh, Facebook post? Okay. Which is wonderful. Thank you for that. A lot of good things happening. And City Manager Sable just reminded me that I didn't mention the Omi Nail Lounge opening. Sorry about that. I kind of lumped it into development and redevelopment because we've got both going on. And there's a really big nail lounge over at Birch Run Station. They had their grand opening. They had 2 dragons. They had fireworks. They had the North High School cheerleading squad there. It was a really fun event. And a really cool thing is that they partnered with local restaurants in the area to provide the food for the event. So that's really exciting. That is an example of redevelopment in our community. It's replaced, I don't even remember what it replaced in the Birch Run Station facility, or that shopping mall, but that was a very fun event. I mentioned, I believe, Community Dental, that they are going in at the 3M Conference Center, and they are going to greatly expand. I believe it's like 26 chairs, or I don't even know what they call them formally in a dental setting, but so that they can really offer dental services to Medicare and Medicaid patients, or simply dental patients that do not have any insurance at all, and it is free. So that is going in. They're going to be redeveloping that. And I believe it's going to be ready in approximately 1 year, so we can look forward to that. And then that is redevelopment of an old 3M conference center. And then new development, that's why I mentioned Coretta, the senior living facility that is over on County Road C in White Bear. That's a brand-new development. There wasn't anything there except basically, I think, some swampland. And kind of a marshy area back behind the car wash over there. So a lot of new things coming into the city, which is really very cool to see. So a lot going on. I think fall, many people think fall is a kind of a quieter season. It certainly doesn't seem that way in Maplewood. So all kind of good things. So thank you for that. Council members, moving on to the consent agenda. We have consent agenda items G1 through 7. Would someone like to make a motion?
Motion to approve consent agenda item G1 through 7.
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Cave. The motion to accept consent agenda items G1 through 7. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We have no public hearings, no unfinished business. We have 2 items under new business, which is really kind of exciting. This is really different for us council members. Mr. Sable, you are going to present on the award of the 2025 charitable gambling funds.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So every year, the City of Maplewood solicits requests for charitable gambling funds, and the city has followed a pattern of rotating the awards over the course of a year. This year is social supports and senior citizen services. The following year would be youth programs and community engagement and events, and in the following year would be environment, natural resources, and safety programs. And historically, this has been a very competitive round of requests. In a typical year, we typically get more requests than there are dollars that are allowed and available. This year, it happened to align, the stars magically aligned for all of the requests that came through happened to match the funds that were available. And so there is an opportunity, so the staff recommends that the City Council review and approve the proposed award amounts as listed. Carefree Cottages for $500, Child Inc. for $7,500, Community Sharing Program, $2,500, Gladstone Community Education Center, $5,000, the Salvation Army Lakewood, $5,000, Tubman Family Services and Alliance, $20,000, and the YMCA for $2,500. And each of those has a write-up in the attachment for that. And I will say this access to additional dollars, I think, has really been a sign that the community likes charitable gambling and does this work. We also know that there's been an expansion of charitable gambling in the community, and so we're actually seeing more money. And so I'd like to bring good news that next year might be a bigger problem or an opportunity as you see it. So there's potential for more. The staff have reviewed the applications and determined they met the criteria established by the council in the category of social supports and senior citizen services. And with that, I'll answer any questions if you have.
Thank you, Councilmember Cave.
Sure. I think this is a fantastic thing, our charitable gambling awards. I just noticed something just a little off this year is one person gets $20,000 and other people, because we had an abundance and we didn't have a lot of people asking. I just think we don't have to decide this now, but I want this to be a conversation we have for future because we do have more money coming in with a bingo hall. Now we're going to have more money. I just think, number one, to look at a cap for somebody to ask for a certain amount so more can be spread. And also, so many of our community members have asked when you look at the small asks that they put in there, because it used to be if they didn't get that amount, they'd get nothing. So I just, there's going to be more money going out. We've divided it into 3 years because we used to have such a limited amount, and possibly looking at a different way to put it together. I don't have the solution right now. I just know it was kind of like a criteria when it came up. I was like, oh, we get to split up, 43,000, and it did come out great. And I do love Tubman, but every year certain people ask for so much. I mean, they're just used to asking for that and getting less. And I see, Carefree Cottages ask for entertainment and birthday parties for their seniors, and they only ask for 500. Yeah. So that kind of stuff, I'm like, So, for the future, to look at possibly redoing something with our charitable gambling, since we might be having more money, and how to go about doing that. I don't know.
Councilmember Cave, can I suggest that we add this onto the list that,
Okay.
where we just added several different things to it, that we add this as well, to have this discussion.
Yeah.
It certainly is a great problem to have, that we have plenty of money.
Yeah.
And in the past, it's kind of been a struggle because, if you can't fully fund a project, maybe that project is never going to happen anyway.
Yep.
And so and some projects, they just can't do with less.
Yes.
And so maybe we can have that discussion and broaden that out a little bit. So do I see everyone's head shaking? Then, Mr. Sable, do you want to add that to our list of discussion things? We've got until next October, so we don't exactly have to race into this.
But it does come quick, and it could be a large chunk of money.
Right, after the next year.
Yeah.
After the new year.
Yeah.
I think it would be appropriate that we have that discussion. What is that going to look like?
Yeah.
Okay, Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to, the stuff makes sense, and I just wanted to say that reading through the work that people want to do in our community is inspiring. It really speaks to how great of a city we are. And people talk about how we're the nonprofit capital of the country, and I'm like, oh, we care about people here in Minnesota and in Maplewood. But these are great projects and great things that are going to be going back into our community, so I'm super excited to support these grant money.
Great. Council members, would someone like to make a motion?
Motion to approve the Maplewood Charitable Gambling Funds to the following, I'm going to say organization and request amount.
You can just
request?
say as listed.
Okay,
You don't have to
okay.
read the whole
So
thing.
motion to approve the Maplewood Charitable Gambling Funds as listed.
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Cave. The motion to approve the proposed award amounts as listed for charitable gambling funds. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. And we have one more item, a setback variance concerning Larkin Dance Studio. Ms. Parr, this is yours.
It is. Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I will draw your attention to the overhead as soon as we get the PowerPoint pulled up. There we go. As you may be aware, this is a 2.19 acre site located at 1400 Highway 36. The side we're going to be talking about is on Cope Avenue. If you drove by, you would notice it is directly across the street from residential, and that's one of the things we'll talk about. In 2023, the city approved a minor construction project to expand the parking lot to the west. So if you look where the parking exists on Cope, we're talking about the area just the opposite side where you see the grass and the trees just beyond that area. There are 5 spaces they would like to add to the project if approved. These aren't necessary to meet parking requirements, but it will help with the parking need and get people off Cope Avenue is what they're hoping for as a part of this. The site is guided mixed-use community. It's zoned light manufacturing, and its use is permitted per that district. We require a 15-foot setback traditionally from the property line. The applicant has submitted a variance request that 15-foot variance apply to these 5 spaces. They would be adjacent to the existing on the opposite side that were part of an earlier development of the parking area there. As you can tell from the black area at the bottom of the layout there, that's where the 5 stalls are being proposed to go. Just behind that, as you head back towards the building, we'll say to the north, basically, as you're looking up there, that area was previously approved for a parking area. If you go out and happen to take a look at the site, you'd see that they've already started prep on that area, and that was previously approved. No variance needed for that. This is just an addition, so they're asking for it, and they want to do it at the same time. Economy of scale there for getting the work done. The applicant is proposing to plant 34 skyrocket Jupiter trees to screen the lights from the vehicles from the adjacent residential homes across Cope for the new and existing space that would be created there. We did have notices go out within 500 feet of the property. The public hearing was held. We had one comment that was received from a neighbor directly across the street, and you can see where the comments were coming from, the comment was coming from in relation to parking and the lights. That's what the trees are meant to address. We also, and taking a closer look at that with the Planning Commission, we have asked the applicant to go back and revisit the site in general. There are some other things on the site, particularly as you can see in this picture, there are some lights that probably aren't in compliance with our requirements. And so we're going to take an overall look at the site. I believe a plan was submitted today. If not, it'll be submitted shortly, I'm told, that shows some changes in regards to the lighting. Largely, it's pivoting the lights so that they are downcast as we require. Some of those may require them to change out some of those fixtures to be in compliance as well. We won't allow them to move forward with any parking adjustments to these 5 spaces if found appropriate until they all are in compliance, if they're not already with our requirements in regards to how far the light can cast. And a photometric plan will demonstrate that for us. As the conditions in the report reflect, all of those parking lot lights must be downcast, and the photometric plan must show that it meets the requirements. Pre-existing 0-foot setback, non-conforming parking spaces on the east side of the site exist. So if you look where the red circle is right now, those are where they currently are. You'll also see if you look further down Cope where the yellow circle is, those are existing parking spaces that also had a variance 2 feet from the front property line, and those were permitted back in 2022. The state allows variances, as the council is aware, to be approved when the proposal is in harmony with our goals and also the policies outlined in our comprehensive plan. Particularly, three of the things we look for is reasonableness, we look at uniqueness, and essential character. City staff has reviewed the application, and we find that the request, we believe, is in harmony with our goals and policies outlined in our comprehensive plan. And our controls, however, we do believe that we need to take another look at the lighting plan to make sure that it's in compliance and that we screen properly with the trees that are there to not take away from the adjacent residential property across the street. With that, we we would recommend a motion to approve the resolution for the setback variance for the dance studio at 1400 Highway 36. We do have a representative here for the design team for Larkin, and he's happy to answer any questions you may have in addition to ones you may have for staff.
Okay, thank you. Let's start with staff first, because I see Councilmember Cave's lights on, and then we'll ask you to come up to the microphone in just a moment.
Sure. I guess my biggest question is going to be with the lighting for the resident. Larkin Dance Studio, if you look back at the other variances that were done, like the yellow, you had that thing, the yellow circle for that variance, that's on a business, so they're not operating at night, 5 o'clock, but, they're not, and Larkin operates at night, and when it gets winter time, it's going to be dark. There's already issues right now with the parking, with going, that they park and it goes right into residential. They're talking about shrubs, the juniper shrubs. Is there anything, what about putting up a fence there? Because shrubs are going to take a while to grow, and it's going to be those lights, those cars, if there is a variance, they're going to be right up against the, pretty close to the sidewalk there. And
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Councilmember Cave. This particular situation, the one nice thing about the juniper is they're very dense, so they're close together. So it's not so much the height, it's more about where the lights are on the cars in looking at it in that respect. A fence could be required. Typically, we wouldn't do that in a business application, but it could be required if the council saw fit to do that.
okay. It just seems like there's an issue with them already on the property with residents, with the, the resident across with the lights. So to add more lights to that person, you're lighting up their whole front yard. I think I just wanted to see what options were talked about for that.
Part of the conversation that took place at the Planning Commission was about revisiting what's there currently, because we do believe that some of the existing lighting there with the adjustments will make a significant difference in regards to the overall lighting coming off the site.
Okay.
As far as the lights coming from the cars, you are correct. I haven't heard a lot of complaints in regards to the cars that are there now. Obviously, they're further down on the other side of the entrance, so they're not impacting directly across where that particular resident is.
Yeah.
And I know there is a rather large bush tree. If you drove by that other residence that's across the way, they don't have the screening, but they don't apparently have the issue because there's one large one in the residential home site's front yard, just in front of the windows and the doors right there on their site.
Yeah.
So in this case, the vegetation would be on the Larkin side, where there isn't any of that right now on that side.
And that wouldn't be until spring.
When they
Well,
be
or
put in.
summer.
Yep.
Okay.
And we wouldn't allow those parking stalls to exist until those trees were installed.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to also ditto that piece by Councilmember Cave. It was the constituents was concerned about the lightings that are currently on the building, because a lot of those are shining directly at her house. So I think it was good to see that there's a light plan that's going to come in place. I think that's going to help a lot. I could go either or, but I think the plants itself, I think that should suffice for that location I drove by earlier. I think it would do it in the short, for the time being.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have just one question, just so that we're absolutely clear on this, that the lighting issues that currently that exist on the building would have to be fixed. I just want to make sure that we know the sequencing and the time frame, because it's getting pretty late to be doing a lot of things. So tell us, can you answer that, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I'm happy to. We will not allow the parking to be put in place in regards to utilized or constructed until the parking has been addressed, or excuse me, the lighting has been addressed on the existing building, as well as a landscaping being installed in order to protect the neighbor from the light coming off of those cars. There's two areas of lighting that need to be addressed, not just the screening, but also on the existing building. And their intention is to do that quickly. They obviously want to be good neighbors.
That sounds very reasonable to me. I think that sounds like that will address the issues of the neighbor, but I want to make sure that the owner, the representative understands that that would be an expectation. So would someone like to come up to the microphone? Good evening. Can you please tell us your name?
I'm Ben Passolt. I'm from LA Design Build, the design team that worked on the parking lot design for Larkin Dance. So, yeah, like we talked about so far, we have our illumination plan prepared. I believe it was sent to the city, so we're just waiting for a response on kind of what the city would like us to do in regards to that. The electrician who looked out there at the site said that the existing lights on the building, the ones in questions, can be rotated down, but I don't know if that fully meets city code or not, but we'll work with the city just to make sure that the requirements are completely met. In addition to the building lights then, and the actual parking lights, right now there's no screening for the cars in the parking lot that cast out. So we'd proposed not only in the new variance area, but in the existing parking lot as well, put in the juniper bushes. And those provide really good coverage. They're pretty tall. They're like 6 foot tall, pretty thick shrubs. And then we also took last fall when we did the grading work for the parking lot, we took our extra fill and actually put in a small berm where that new variance parking area is as well. So that'll add just more height to that, which just adds to the screening, just more protection from the existing.
Okay,
For the
thank you
existing
for that.
lights, yeah.
Let me ask you this, Ms. Parr. The motion that we're being asked to approve, will that give us enough coverage in terms of all these lighting expectations that we have just discussed and that the representative has indicated that they are willing to address?
Madam Mayor, the conditions within your packet are all going to be required prior to us actually signing off on allowing them to construct those spaces. So you do have protections there. If you wanted to add something additional to the motion, you certainly could, but otherwise feel assured that staff will follow through to make sure that they comply with the conditions that are listed.
The staff report is pretty clear for me, so I just wanted to make sure that, is everyone satisfied with the answers? Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
Motion to approve a resolution for a setback variance for Larkin Dance Studios expanded parking lot at 1400 Highway 36.
Second.
Moved by Villavicencio, seconded by Lee, the motion to approve a resolution for a setback variance for Larkin Dance Studios expanded parking lot at 1400 Highway 36 East. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
And
guys.
we're very glad that Larkin is such a success that you have to put in more parking. That's wonderful.
It's a good problem.
And a great neighbor.
Yeah. So, council members, we have gone through our complete agenda, and with that, we are adjourned. Good night, everyone.